And welcome back to Newsmax Now. It did not take long after polling stations closed last night that Donald Trump was crowned the sweeping winner of all 5 Republican primaries last night. He had some words for his doubters.
We will beat Hillary so easily. And, you know, remember this. Remember this. I was not going to run according to everybody, and I ran. I was not going to sign Form A, which basically you sign your life away, and I signed Form A.
Trump also called himself the presumptive nominee. And let's take a look at the updated delegate count, too, to kind of give some perspective to where things stand right now. Trump is not that far from doubling Cruz's current delegate count. Trump has 954. Cruz has 562. Kasich basically irrelevant at this point, other than the fact he's kind of helping Donald Trump and maintaining this as a three-way race. Kasich only has 153 delegates. Let's go ahead and welcome back in Dick Morris, who's standing by. Dick, you may have seen the graphic we had up there. It was a gravestone of the Never Trump movement. But I want to ask you about this pick of Carly Fiorina. Does it reinvigorate the Never Trump movement?
Well, I think it reinvigorates Cruz's campaign. We have to see this. These primaries have a news cycle value where there's momentum and it shifts on a dime. Cruz had tremendous momentum coming out of Iowa, and then the Ben Carson cheating scandal erased that, and Trump developed the momentum, which carried him all the way through South Carolina and through Super Tuesday. Then Cruz clawed back the momentum after a week or two of Trump making every mistake he possibly could about women being punished for abortion and breaking up NATO and all kinds of stuff like that.
It's pretty remarkable, Dick. You got to admit, it's pretty remarkable that Trump has been able to regain the momentum. And it's different than momentum, in my opinion. It's more like inertia.
John,
go ahead.
John, you asked me a question. Let me answer. Then after Wisconsin, Cruz gained the momentum back, but he lost it almost immediately when Trump made a scandal out of his winning Colorado and North Dakota without any votes, according to state party rules, and that became evidence of being an insider. Now Trump has tremendous momentum coming out of the 5-state win, and Cruz is basically trying to break the momentum with this announcement. And if he can break it and keep the break going through Indiana, that will give him a victory in Indiana, which will probably force Trump to finish short of a majority. Now, whether it'll be far enough short of a majority to satisfy JD's criteria, and we'll see. But he needed the momentum break. Otherwise, his campaign was dead. And that is what today did. It took him off the critical list.
Yeah, Cruz is going to win the day, was able to overshadow Trump's foreign policy speech. But will that carry on past today? Time will tell. Let's welcome in Rick, who's calling in from Arizona. Rick, what's your question or comment? Do we have Rick with us? Dick, going back to what I was saying when I interrupted you, and I apologize for that, but with Trump, as you mentioned, with Cruz, there is momentum for a brief period of time. With Trump, it's more like inertia, where if it does switch to Cruz's favor, it's almost natural that it shifts back in the other direction. The default is that the wind is always at Trump's back in these types of situations.
Well, a big part of that is the overt bias of the Fox News channel, where Roger Ailes, who runs it, is basically running the Trump campaign quietly, and I gather from his bed, I gather he's not well. But the bias in favor of Trump at the Fox News channel is unbelievable. And there's also bias for Trump by the mainstream media because they're all for Hillary. And they want Hillary to defeat the Republican, and they know she has a much better shot against Trump than against Kasich or Cruz. So when you have that level of media bias, Newsmax is one of the unbiased organs, you kind of can account for that shift in momentum of which you speak.
Well, what do you think about this Megyn Kelly-Donald Trump interview? If you were a conspiracy theorist, you could almost imagine that this was the conceptualized at the very beginning from that particular debate to bring this whole thing full circle and give Trump this spotlight that millions of people are going to tune into at a very critical time in this campaign.
Yes, well, I think that's part of the Fox News channel effort. They put Megyn out there at a time when Trump was just getting started, and she earned her spurs as an anti-Trump feminist. And now she is going to go through a very public act of surrender and contrition to give Trump his mantle back and give him a better shot at the nomination. But I caution you that this momentum is a very fluid thing. Trump began to lose momentum when he endorsed crossover bathrooms, and that hurt him badly in the base. The Fiorina thing, I think, is a very positive step for Cruz, and we'll see if Trump can recapture the momentum. If he does recapture it, and he does keep the momentum and wins in Indiana, it's go home time. It's over for the Cruz.
I think what you said is important about how it cast Donald Trump and his problems with women, but I don't know, speaking to a lot of women about their picks, they're not going to go for somebody just because there's a female on the ticket. Let's welcome in Rick, calling from Arizona. We've reestablished his connection. Rick, go ahead.
Yes, hey, thank you for taking my call.
Our pleasure.
Yes, I just wanted to share with you, I don't think that was the greatest move that Ted Cruz made today, and I think it was a move of desperation. But I think with Trump, if he wanted to go for a female vice president, I really think one of the best ones he could look at out there is the governor of New Mexico, Susana Martinez.
Yeah, her name's been floated about as a possible pick. Now, let me ask you this, Dick. Do you think, and stand by, Rick, if you have any more comments, do you think that Trump will in turn select a vice presidential nominee to run beside him based on what Cruz has done here?
I think that'll depend on Indiana. I think if Cruz wins Indiana, Trump may do that. And I think it's very possible that Susana Martinez would be his pick. One of the huge things that's not been discussed about the general election race is Cruz's capacity to win a significant share of the Latino vote. A 10% improvement in the Latino vote over Romney is a 2.5% gain nationally, and Romney only lost by 4.1. I think that Margolis on the ticket could really help bring in Latino voters as well. But in response to what Rick said, it's not that naming a woman vice president is a reason to vote for him. It's that it brings the woman issue into the primaries, and Trump is very vulnerable on that. There's a reason 3 out of 4 women in America dislike Donald Trump.
Well, Rick, if you want to stick around, you can. We got to take a side step here for a short commercial break. We got Dick Morris standing by. We're going to keep talking about the presidential campaign, Ted Cruz's selection of Carly Fiorina to be his running mate today, and will it help him or not? Dick Morris, thanks for being with us here. Stick around. Dick Morris, of course, the author of Power Grab, Obama's dangerous plan for a one-party nation. Much more to come here on Newsmax Now, and it's still time for you to call in. We'll see if Rick sticks around with us. Join us at 877-NEWSMAX. Again, that's 877-639-7629. And Miranda's coming back for our next segment as well. We'll see you then.